saying those things that you have the opportunity to say right here, right now. Like when you have the opportunity to say, I love you, I miss you, and I need you, say those things, because you never want to regret it when it's too late.
I don't mean to keep bringing your age back and to hear you speak this way, because it has taken me years and years, and I still feel like, I'm like, God, I spent so much time with you. And life can feel like a roller coaster, but in the beauty and the chaos, if you look for it, life is full of love, joy, and kindness. Welcome to the Candace Bure podcast. We're here to share conversations about life's challenges, celebrations, and everything in between. Season 3 is Stories and Songs with Katy Nichole. Come join us. More. Life doesn't have to pause to go back to school. At Colorado Christian University, you can pursue your passion by earning your degree 100% online and still have time for life's adventures. Choose from over 100 undergraduate and graduate degree programs that are taught with a biblical worldview in a format that works with your busy schedule. Most classes are only 5 weeks long, so you can take one class at a time. Connect with a CCU enrollment counselor today at ccu.edu/Candace. All right. Hi, everyone. Katy, it is so fun to have you on my podcast. Thank you for being here. I am so enjoying getting to know you and all of the stories behind the songs and the depth of your writing and your feeling and your voice to the Lord. It is incredible. It's very special that you share all of your words with the world, because it's impactful to all of us and very meaningful. Today's song that we're going to talk about is called Things I Wish I Would Have Said. And when I listened to this song the first time, I cried. I think by now you know I'm a crier.
That's okay. Those are good tears, though. I mean, it's like, I feel like those are worship tears.
Yeah, they are. But this song is really, really powerful. I mean, it's clearly about an important relationship and wishing that you could have still said something. I would love to read a little bit of the lyrics. Is that okay?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Or do you want to read the lyrics?
I mean, I guess I can totally read the lyrics. I think the most important lyrics to speak from is the chorus of this. And it says, "'Cause I love you and I miss you and I need you. I'm so sorry for the words I used to hurt you. Time keeps going by, but time just won't let me forget all the things I wish I would have said." And I mean, I want to go back to the day that I wrote this song.
Yeah, please do.
Because it was a weird day for me, to be perfectly honest. I walked into the writer's room. I was dealing with a lot in my life, just heaviness on my life. And I walked in the room and I said to the writers, I said, "I need to write a song for me today, if that's okay." And I had been holding on to this idea of things I wish I would have said, because I knew, I know this song is about Jesus, and anyone who's a Christian and listens to Christian music is probably going to hear this is about Jesus and the forgiveness of Jesus. But this song is a bit more relational. So it's a bit more person to person rather than Jesus and person. But obviously Jesus is just in the center of all of that. So it's like, and I think whether you say Jesus or God in a song, being a Christian songwriter, kind of, if you're writing about real life stuff, that's Christian to me. And so this one is so important to me, because when we were in the writer's room, it was another one of those moments where we got to really talk just about life and life stuff. And I was very broken by seeing how many relationships are broken by politics and really just different disagreements. Why is it so hard to sit in, you could be sitting in the same room as a family member. Think about Thanksgiving and being in the room with your family, and somebody's got a differing of opinion, and all of a sudden the room is just so tense that you can hear a pin drop.
Yep.
And you're just
and
like,
everyone has that.
What do I do?
Has those relationships in their life. The old Uncle Joe at Thanksgiving.
Right.
Sorry, any Uncle Joes out there. But no, absolutely. I completely understand we all have that. It can be so divisive.
It can be. And I think my thing was, but Jesus is so loving, and Jesus isn't one side or the other side. Jesus is for love. And so I was like, you know what? There's not really a song that is just about forgiveness. Just about saying those things that you have the opportunity to say right here, right now. Like when you have the opportunity to say, I love you, I miss you, and I need you, say those things, because you never want to regret it when it's too late.
Yep.
And that for me is so important. And I believe that no one is too far from forgiveness. No one's too far from forgiveness from God, and no one's too far from forgiveness in this world with each other.
Yeah.
We have this ability to carry the character of God with us, and that is love, grace, mercy, and again, forgiveness. And if we carry those things with us, then when we're in, having tense moments with different people, or we're having conversations that maybe you're not agreeing with the person that you're with, it doesn't mean that you can't have a conversation with that person, and it doesn't mean that you can't be around that person. Granted, we're all going to hurt people at some point. Human nature is unfortunately very flawed. So we're all going to hurt each other at some point. You can't expect someone to not hurt you because it's just in our nature. But if you want to carry the character of God, then you have to show up even in those moments with God's love and God's mercy and his grace.
I don't mean to keep bringing your age back. So I do apologize for that, but I really am blown away by the wisdom that you have and the depth, which is clearly the Holy Spirit upon you, but the depth of knowing the Word of God, because it's hard to know those truths when you haven't spent time with him and been in relationship with them, just like with any relationship, whether it's your best friend, a husband, a wife, whatever, you get to know them and their characteristics because you spend time with them.
Absolutely.
And to hear you speak this way, because it has taken me years and years, and I still feel like, I'm like, God, I spent so much time with you. And yet I'm still learning and growing, and I'm 47 years old. And again, I am so encouraged when I hear you speak, because I hear and see the depth of the wisdom that God has given you and the amount of time that you've spent with him. Yeah. I'm just blown away by it. Getting back on track, you were talking about not letting that moment pass without telling someone that you love them and kind things about them, or whatever words you want to share. And it often reminds me of my very good friend, Bob Saget, because he was also that person. And he always told you that he loved you no matter what. And since he passed over a year ago, it has been a constant reminder on my mind. And when you have people like that in your life, you realize how valuable it is. And so I'm grateful for that relationship to show me how much that means, and that I can pass that forward.
That's awesome. That's
and I'm also really happy. I think about times in my life, like, have there been times that I've regret not telling someone something, or, spoke to them in a way that was unkind and then never went back and asked them for my forgiveness. And I am pretty grateful, though, the most of the relationships in my life, I feel like I am a very present person that way. I'm also someone who likes to, I have to have closure, so I don't leave a lot of things undone. I feel because then it eats me up. And I can't even live within myself if I don't have closure. So I feel like from a pretty young age, I've been a person, for the most part, that's always communicated pretty well and shared feelings, positive ones and difficult ones.
Totally.
I've also gone back and asked for forgiveness from people in my life when I realized I've, just been a pinhead about something or worse.
Right.
I think I'm grateful though, as I've gotten older and matured and become more patient, I'm much more quick to apologize or quick to recognize my faults and ask for forgiveness in that way. And I'm grateful. That's something that can come with time and grow. But there are also times that I wish I could go back and talk to someone, not in a place of forgiveness, but in a way that I wish I stuck up for myself. Like that I can think about. Because that's a hard place to go back to. Totally. Because the moment's long gone and it's past. Yeah. And then you don't necessarily want to bring things up or you don't need closure, but I can say, I wish I would have said this, and not in a mean way, not in a spiteful way. I think of it more in like a protection kind of way. Like I wish I would have thought of those words, or maybe told someone like, you can't speak to me that way. Or, I don't know. Sure. I think I've been in a few situations in life where those kind of thoughts just come to my mind. I know it's a big topic. Okay, I am excited to tell you about a great opportunity to pursue your passion and find your calling with a degree from Colorado Christian University. CCU offers Christ-centered higher education that transforms students to impact the world with grace and truth. This means you can earn your undergraduate or graduate degree from a university that not only shares your faith and values, but integrates them in every course. Plus, most degree programs are 100% online and designed specifically for busy adults. School should work around your schedule, not the other way around. That's why they have 5-week classes that allow you to take one class at a time and work on your studies when it's convenient for you. Check them out using my unique link at ccu.edu/Candace to learn more.
No, I think that's definitely also something that I can relate to, just where you're like, if in this moment I had said something different, would the outcome have been different? And I really think, and I can say this now, being out of a lot of those moments, that usually God still placed the right words on you at the right times. Yeah. Even if you still think, I have a good amount of times where I've been like, well, I should have probably said that different, but yet still God's plan unfolds. Yeah. And there's nothing you can do to stop that. So even in those moments, I try not to hold regrets, I think. And I think that's why I wrote this song, was just to remind people not to hold regrets. You're going to say the things that you're going to say. Yeah. And if you say something that you shouldn't have said, you should go back and apologize. Yeah. The I'm sorries are always worth it. The I love yous are always worth it.
They are.
And, so on and so forth. So it's just incredibly important to be very well in your communication with the people that you love. You want to communicate everything that you feel. Again, because you don't want to wait until it's too late to do that. Too late.
I agree. I thought that maybe I would just read a couple verses on forgiveness. And I know these are a little bit more towards God. But they, again, depending on how you hear the song, it can be towards relationship or it can be about your relationship with God. I actually love this psalm. I've been in the Old Testament and I've been in 2 Samuel right now and also in the Psalms and reading all about David. And we all know that famous story of David with Bathsheba. And it was a big moment in his life where he faltered, but yet David was after God's heart. And what I love in this psalm when he wrote it, asking for forgiveness from God, he says, I recognize my rebellion. It haunts me day and night. Against you and you alone, God, I have sinned. I've done what's evil in your sight. The sacrifice you desire is a broken spirit, You will not reject a broken and repentant heart, oh God. And I love that if you've maybe wronged someone, maybe you haven't had the opportunity to ask for forgiveness, that can also weigh heavily on your heart.
Yes, it can.
And yet you can still go to God and ask for that forgiveness. Yes. And what God is desiring is a broken spirit. And he says he won't reject a broken and a repentant heart. 1 John says, but if we confess our sins to him, he's faithful and just to forgive us and cleanse us. And I love that because with God, there is always forgiveness. Always. So thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you. Should
we go to a listener question?
I think we should.
I think there's always a right time to read the Bible. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that.
Okay, today's question is from Lauren. How can I embrace being a Christian in high school?
Yes.
Now, did you go to public school?
I did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I would say I definitely had a hard time doing that. Like right off the bat, I can say that it's really easy to fall into just the pressures of being in high school and all the things that are happening around you, and you're learning and you're exploring, and there's just a lot going on when you're in high school. And I think it's really easy as a teenager to want to go against the grain. And for me, I was always in church and I was always, a believer. So I never had a point in my life where I wasn't like a follower of Christ, but there were a lot of times when I didn't look like a follower of Christ. And I think the most important thing that you can do, and it's, not just for you, but for your peers, is to be the example of Christ when you're in high school. And I know how hard that is. I would say pouring yourself into church groups is really, it's a great thing. Like surrounding yourself with really, godly friends and leaders and mentors and people in your life. Because the thing is that the people who pour into you is what you're going to pour out to others. Yeah. And what you're consuming. So if you're consuming, media that's heavy, that's, dark, and music you're listening to, just all of these things. It's funny. I did a talk for high school kids at one point talking about this and the things that we consume and how we pour those things out when we're consuming those things. So if you're watching a TV show that say it has some not so good stuff in it, you might be reflecting that. Yeah. And you don't want to be reflecting that. You want to be reflecting Christ because we were made in his image and we want to reflect him. And so in high school, I know that there's a lot of peer pressure and I know that it's really hard. You're not going to be perfect. When you're in that stage of life, you're most definitely not going to be perfect. Here's the thing. You're going to make mistakes, but just learn from them. Learn from those mistakes so that you can, when you go into adulthood and you're going into college and things like that, so that you're not falling into those things, that you don't want to be falling into. It's like, if you could start, those good things, those good habits there, gosh,
I'll say, because my children went to public school for high school, and two of them did. One of them was like at a special hockey school, but they felt like lone Christians a lot in high school. Totally. And of course I'm speaking for them, so I'll probably get all of it wrong because I'm their mother, but hopefully I'll get some of this right. Yeah. But I feel like with my kids, it was a big school and just a lot of different, just lots of different worldviews at high school.
Yes.
And, but to be honest, like they had a lot of their core friends were from their youth group and from church. So my kids didn't have a ton of friends at high school, and they were kind of okay with it. They kind of just like went to school, did their thing. Some days they would feel like loners, but they weren't loners.
Totally.
It's just that their core group of friends weren't at their high school. And once they would go to those other, whether it was their youth group or at our house or their house, like they had their group of friends. But I know sometimes when you're trying to be that positive light in high school, it can be brutal. Listen, you couldn't pay me to go back to high school.
You could not pay me either. No. I would prefer to not.
Lauren, hang in there. Yeah. Hang in there, do the best that you can, and just remember that this too shall pass. You will get through high school. Remember, Katy and I made a playlist for you. You can find it at Candace.com. We've got the link to all the music from these episodes, plus extra songs Katy and I picked out that we know you're going to love. Go to Candace.com to find the link or look in our show notes. Until next time, be grateful all day, every day. Hey friends, thanks for watching. If we said something that made you feel good today, would you tap the like button? I've got new videos every Wednesday, but you never know when I might post something extra. So make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications so you won't miss any of the new ones. This has been a Candace Cameron Bure podcast, a production of Candy Rock Entertainment. Some of the products and services mentioned are paid promotions. Any advice should be confirmed with a qualified professional. Opinions and ideas are for entertainment purposes only and belong to Candy Rock Entertainment. All rights reserved.